That case right now, I mean, if you ask me specific questions, was I the back channel? No, I was not the back channel.
Here's a specific from your discussions with Roger Stone, that he had inside info on what WikiLeaks was going to do?
Absolutely not. And listen, he didn't communicate with Julian Assange, and neither did Corsi. There's not a snowball's chance in hell that
so
he
if
would
that's
communicate.
True.
Right. And those texts do seem to suggest you knew something.
Right. Yeah, I know they.
And why you would have, I mean, I know you were drunk at the time, but why would you have constructed that tweet and
text
sent,
message?
Text message?
Hillary's campaign will die this week.
Yeah.
Because he had.
Seriously. Why don't you give me a yes or no? Were you predicting?
No, I was
dump?
predicting because I was at the airport, Heathrow Airport. They have a duty-free shop there that you can drink for nothing as you're going around. And I got whacked, and I just was having this communication. I was predicting because I had heard from somebody that went public that something was coming out that week. He already telegraphed it, or basically
But your answer here.
I got to see him for 3 days, and I flew back on the 1st. I got whacked out on the plane.
1st of October.
1st of October, I got totally whacked out because at the Heathrow Airport, the duty-free shop, you buy, but they also have bars at every, like the gin, the bourbon, the cognac, and I was so whacked. So on my way back, I tweeted, I sent him a text message, big news. Big news. Yes.
Big
all right.
News
yes.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
you wrote
right.
On October 1st.
Is that what you said? Yes, right.
Right. And then you went on to say, no, now pretend you don't know me.
Right.
And
Probably. You want me to say yes? I definitely was not a back channel to Julian Assange.
Chris Hayes has my face, the missing link. I don't know if you saw that. Chris Hayes did a big thing at the very top, the missing link, you know? The missing link between Trump and Roger Stone and the elections. We found him. So our not text, but tweets that I sent on, I think it was June 14th, saying Assange has got a bunch of good stuff coming out, right? Well, the thing is, Assange said that June 12th, right?
Releases and damaging information. Did you have the impression that Stone was talking to Donald Trump or senior aides about this kind of thing during the campaign?
I think he was probably bluffing Trump, and Trump really didn't look into it, that he was having communications. That was his way of getting himself in and in good favor with Trump.
They called me, and I think maybe Nunez knew that it was going to backfire, asking me to go, because I'd love to perform in front of them. I'd do the same thing I'm doing right now. I would be doing a bunch of impressions. I'd be doing Bogart from Kane Mutiny and wigging out Jack Nicholson from A Few Good Men. You guys don't want to know the goddamn truth, you know? So,
but this is important,
yes.
Randy. You also texted Roger on August 26th saying Assange has kryptonite on Hillary.
Right. I did say that. Yes.
Were you referring to inside information on forthcoming? You were just kind of talking it up.
I said that to a lot of people. I said it to him. I said it to a lot of people because
I gotta
he
ask
had
you,
said that.
Right. Then in October 1st.
I thought I was doing impressions tonight.
Maybe later. Then on September 19th, that you're going to go ahead, you already passed the message to Assange. What was going on there?
There was no message that was passed to Assange, and I don't even know which text message. There's hundreds and hundreds of text messages.
Slow down.
Wait
this
a
is
second.
important. No.
I want you to
if
know.
you don't know
well,
which, Randy, I'm going to read it to you. I'll give you time to respond.
All right.
I'll give you time. On October 1st.
You're not going to have Randy Credico.
Then on October 1st, Mueller to respond.
Wait
you said
until you see the report.
No, but I have an indictment of Roger Stone that says he was obstructing justice based on his treatment of you. And I'm asking you, when you wrote to him, I did pass your message to Assange. What did that mean?
The message was something.
I got to see him for 3 days, and I flew back on the 1st. I got whacked out on the plane.
1st of October.
1st of October, I got totally whacked out because at the Heathrow Airport, the duty-free shop, you buy, but they also have bars at every, like the gin, the bourbon, the cognac, and I was so whacked. So on my way back, I tweeted, I sent him a text message, big news. Big news.
Yes.
All right.
Big News
yes.
Wednesday. You
yeah,
wrote
right.
On October 1st.
Is that what you said? Yes, right.
Right. And then you went on to say, no, now pretend you don't know me.
Right.
And
be going over this. If my lawyer knew that this was going to be the gist of what we were talking about, it's a gotcha moment here. I mean, there's certain things there. My God, like I said, my fellow Americans, you are not going to kick me around anymore after this interview.
Roger Stone gave your name up to the committee and said, this person that I've been talking about, tweeting about my secret squirrel into Julian Assange's world and how I knew that things were going to be coming out was Randy Credico, right?
I think that's the reason why, but I haven't seen anybody's testimony. I don't know. That could be what they put out, they leaked out there, but maybe it's something else. Maybe they want to have information with my source.
This is your first time speaking
Right.
since the indictment. Your answer is no, you were not trying to predict
No.
what Assange was going to do.
I was outside the embassy and I took a picture. There was a guy standing.
But I'm not asking about the
All right,
picture.
well, I think it's important that I get some.
The request to contact Assange, you say to Stone, just remember, do not name me as your connection to Assange. You had one before you referred to.
Right. He talked about having to me, he said that he had someone when he was on that tape that you played when he was in Central Florida. When he played, he said, I didn't want to be the guy.
When's the last time you've had contact with Julian Assange?
Actually, a year ago today, I had contact with him, and he knew I was doing your show for the second time. It was a year ago today when you sprung Sam Nunberg and Nick Ackerman on me. Remember that day?
Randy, I feel like you were getting very close to referencing Stuck in the Middle with You.
That's very good.
I don't know why. I don't know why I came here tonight.
Right.
I don't know why I came here tonight.
No,
Look,
but I'm thinking of Three Dog Night. One is the loneliest number. Two, I'm number two.
Person
Can be
two.
as bad as one is the loneliest number.
so let's
number one.
let's conclude with.
They called me, and I think maybe Nunez knew that it was going to backfire, asking me to go, because I'd love to perform in front of them. I'd do the same thing I'm doing right now. I would be doing a bunch of impressions. I'd be doing Bogart from Kane Mutiny and wigging out Jack Nicholson from A Few Good Men. You guys don't want to know the goddamn truth. You know?
To speak to Adam Schiff's
Yes,
committee?
yes. He told me
When-
to talk to Schiff.
when did he
and
tell you
Schiff,
that?
Just before I went down there. It was a secret mission. That's the reason why I went down there. I didn't go there to testify.
When? Before Wednesday.
Yes.
And why does Assange, in your view, want to speak to Adam
Because
Schiff?
I got to see him for 3 days, and I flew back on the 1st. I got whacked out on the
1st of
plane.
October.
1st of October, I got totally whacked out because at the Heathrow Airport, the duty-free shop, you buy, but they also have bars at every, like the gin, the bourbon, the cognac, and I was so whacked. So on my way back, I tweeted, I sent them a text message, big news. Big news. Yes, all right.
Big news
Yes.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
you wrote
right.
on October
Is that what you said?
1st.
Yes, right.
Right. And then you went on to say, no, now pretend you don't know me.
Right.
And
Explain why you would have. I mean, I know you were drunk at the time, but why would you have constructed that tweet and
Text
sent,
message.
Well,
text
you have-
message?
Hillary's campaign will
because-
die
Text
this
message,
week.
yeah.
Because he had been riding me over this Gary Johnson to get some information on this Dr. Paul. And I said I was going to, but I was never planning to see him. There was no chance I was going to see him. I had a note from the radio station from Bertold Reimers to drop off at the radio station. That's what I did. I dropped it off at not the radio station, at the embassy. It was like a scene out of the Addams Family thing, coming out and pulling this envelope from
Right.
Bertold Reimers.
To this investigation and their questioning of you, have you left this process thinking they have evidence that Roger Stone was coordinating in some way with Julian Assange and knew that these email dumps were coming?
I don't think that they have evidence that he's dealt directly with Julian Assange. I don't.
Or indirectly.
Or I don't know if they have that. I don't think so. Assange had been teasing he was doing something the first week in October, and it was just unlucky for me to send that to him, joking with him. Like there was a lot. If you take a look at all of the text messages over the previous 6 months, and if you take a look at his, I got to see him for 3 days, and I flew back on the 1st. I got whacked out on the
1st of
plane.
October.
1st of October, I got totally whacked out because at the Heathrow Airport, the duty-free shop, you buy, but they also have bars at every, like the gin, the bourbon, the cognac, and I was so whacked. So on my way back, I tweeted, I sent them a text message, big news. Big news. Yes, all right.
Big news
Yes.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
you wrote
right.
on October
Is that what you said?
1st.
Yes, right.
Right. And then you went on to say, no, now pretend you don't know me.
Right.
And
Assange had been teasing he was doing something the first week in October, and it was just unlucky for me to send that to him, joking with him. Like, there was a lot. If you take a look at all of the text messages over the previous 6 months, and if you take a look at this thing, is if people would just use logic, why would Julian Assange see a guy he's never met, had him on his radio show one time, to tell him that emails are coming out on Wednesday, make sure you tell Roger Stone? If there was any logic applied to this entire theory, you would know it was BS.
So, is Roger Stone telling the truth when he says that you were his conduit to Julian Assange?
I'm not at liberty to say exactly what Roger Stone did, other than what he has said on my radio show at this point.
Which
I can't
was?
conclusively say. He's on my radio show many times. He got me Gary Johnson on my radio show. He talked to my radio show.
The Libertarian candidate.
The Libertarian
for president.
candidate. And like I said, he'd been on my show. Got a lot of heat for this. I had him on. This goes way back to when I had the morning show before David Rothenberg on Saturdays. I had him on. I had Wayne Barrett.
Okay, people can look at that archive, but
yes.
How about this question? Is Roger Stone being truthful when he says that you were his conduit to advance information from WikiLeaks?
This is the kind of question I'm going to get next week.
Well, this is a practice run.
Yes, well, this practice run is, I have to say, I stand on my First Amendment grounds, or I stand on my Fifth Amendment rights here.
So you're making me play the role of Adam Schiff?
Yes, your conclusion. If you were to look through all of the dates and go through all of the material, the answer to that question. But the fact of the matter is, since I am unable to talk about my communication with Roger Stone and Julian Assange other than our conversation, this is by my lawyer. I asked him, if you ask me that question, what can I say? He says, you can't say anything.
Okay. Has your lawyer been also sending out your tweets, like the president?
Look at my tweets. Look at Roger Stone's tweets. I mean,
I'm going to look at your tweets. June 17th, 2016, you tweeted, Assange to drop coup de grace hammer on career criminal Clinton. How did you know that?
I said that?
Yeah.
What day was that?
June 17th, 2016.
June 17th. Well, that was something that I would just say. When did it come out?
Oh,
that was based on his tweets. That was based on his tweets. Okay? He's the one that said that she was going to jail. He had enough material. Just take a look at his tweets. Mine are based back then on his tweets.
So
I did not even know Assange on June 17th.
So June 17th, you tweeted that. July 22nd at 10:30 in the
must
morning,
have been drinking
WikiLeaks
back
begins.
then.
You must have been drinking. WikiLeaks begins to release tens of thousands of DNC
Well, they
emails.
probably had already done that, right?
So did you know anything about this in advance?
How would I know that? How would I know about that? The June 7th, so that's even news to me that I put that out. Must have been one of my drinking benches. But if you take a look at his tweets prior to that I would extrapolate based on his tweets what was coming out.
WikiLeaks knew it was bullshit. They put out a statement on this. Credico was playing Stone the same way Stone was playing Bannon. Because Stone was using this kind of stuff to ingratiate himself with the Trump campaign as if he had a back channel. Where was everything else? Anyway, I said, hey, thanks a lot, Roger, for getting me Johnson. I said, is there anything I can do to reciprocate? He says, get me Julian Assange. So I said, well, I've had him on my show, and, I used this friend of mine who's a lawyer and all that. And I said, I'll see what I can do. But, of course, I would never. But I wasn't going to give him the Stone. Stone is toxic. I didn't even want them to know that I knew him.
Was planning to publish. Credico now says he never had contact with Assange.
I don't think he had a back channel. I mean, if you put a gun to my head and said, you have to guess correctly, did Stone have or not have a back channel, otherwise we're going to pull the trigger, I would, if my life is at stake, I'd say he never had a back channel.
Do you ever carry messages from Julian Assange about what he might plan to do or the nature of his work to other people anywhere else in the world?
No, absolutely not. I totally deny.
You deny that?
Specific reason. I went down there to ask him, if you want to get to the bottom of all this, then go to London. I had gone there with a mandate from Assange for Mr. Schiff to go over there and interview him. I got the okay from Assange for him to do that.
What? You have Julian Assange willing to speak to Adam Schiff's committee?
Yes. He told me to talk to Schiff.
When did he tell you that?
Just before I went down there. It was a secret mission. That's the reason why I went down there. I didn't go there to testify.
When? Before Wednesday?
Yes, yes.
And why does Assange, in your view, want to speak to Adam Schiff?
Because he can clear it all up. He's ready to talk to Adam Schiff. If he wants to go over there, he's waiting.
Okay, can we end on Frank Pantangelo?
Okay,
He's one of my favorite characters from Godfather 2.
Pantangeli.
Pantangeli, yeah.
Wait, I'll split it in two. First of all, I got to do the Godfather, then Pantangeli, right? My youngest son had to leave this country because of this Roger Stone business. All right, I make necessary arrangements, clear him of false charges of being a back channel. But I'm a superstitious man, and if something should happen to him on the 6 train on the way back to Brooklyn, I'm gonna blame some of the people in this room. I don't know no Roger Stone. Oh, yes, I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago. The FBI guys say, give me something on Roger Stone. So I said, Roger Stone this, Roger Stone that, but they were all lying, all of it.
What were they drinking? Champagne cocktails.
Champagne cocktails. What are they drinking?
Though, is you understand how central you are to this. And I understand you're saying you maybe don't want to be central anymore. I want to move forward, though, with this. Number one.
You know, I took the 5th.
Well, hold on. Let me do the interview, yes. Right? That's fair. Number one, has anyone related to the Mueller probe asked for you to provide anything, testimonial or evidence?
No.
When you were asked about this by the House, you took the Fifth Amendment, which you just mentioned. We're thinking along the same lines. Why did you do that? Why not just go tell them what happened?
Because I could. Because I took the Fifth Amendment. The same reason why the Hollywood 10 took the Fifth Amendment.
You did it to send a message.
Yes, absolutely.
What was the message?
The message is that I consider this entire probe to be a waste of time and a witch hunt, and it's scary. It is very scary the way they are going after people. I was not going to dignify this committee by talking to them. Plus, my lawyers tell me I talk too much. So, and I say I go off on tangents like I just did with Nixon, and I may do with Jack Nicholson because I'm going to tell the truth.
Let me ask you this, and I want.
The late Randy Credico, let's hear it.
Go ahead, Tony. Give this.
Mr. Credico here, he is, as you can see, he's pioneering the Pancho Villa look. And it isn't
Go
working.
ahead.
It isn't working.
Go ahead. You got the funny mic.
All right, so good. Now get off stage.
No.
I've got to do it.
Right, you're on Yeah.
So first of all, I'm honored to be here in the Youth International Party Museum. It is a great privilege to be here with my friend Randy Credico, who has taken it upon himself to lead a fight in this state for reform of the most ridiculous, wasteful, ineffective drug laws in the United States. And the truth of the matter is, here's the sad truth. People say, well, the Rockefeller drug laws are so tough that if you get caught with minute amounts of drugs that are not for distribution, there's no way out. That's not true, folks. If you are wealthy, if you are the daughter of the lieutenant governor of New York, who happened to be sadly a Republican, who can afford an expensive lawyer so you don't go to jail, you can get off. But if you are black or Hispanic or Asian or poor or not well connected and can't hire the right lawyers, you're going away. This law doesn't work. You can get more for murder than you can for minor drug possession. Prisons upstate are an employment mill for the old Republican Party. They don't close the prisons because the prisons provide jobs for people in an economy upstate that sucks. And why I'm sympathetic to those people's need for jobs, we are not rehabilitating anybody. We are not preparing anybody to go back out and be useful citizens. What we are doing doesn't make sense from a financial point of view, doesn't make sense from a moral point of view, doesn't make sense from a legal point of view. It is bad public policy. Now, I didn't like Elliot Spitzer. Everybody knows that, and I don't want to preach all night.
But what are you going to do about it?
We have a new governor. We have a new governor. We have a new governor. And so far, I like what I hear, but it's time for action on this front. Therefore, I am honored to be here with my friend Randy Credico, my friend Tony Papa. These guys have been on the forefront of the fight. I come here as a Republican a conservative, a libertarian, but also someone who understands common sense. These drug laws suck. They gotta go. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay,
People
can we
say-
end on Frank Pantangelo?
Okay,
He's one of my favorite characters from Godfather 2.
Pantangeli.
Pantangeli, yeah.
Wait, I'll split it in two. First of all, I got to do the Godfather, then Pantangeli, all right? My youngest son had to leave this country because of this Roger Stone business. All right, I make necessary arrangements, clear him of false charges of being a back channel. But I'm a superstitious man, and if something should happen to him on the 6 train on the way back to Brooklyn, I'm gonna blame some of the people in this room. I don't know no Roger Stone. Oh, yes, I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago. The FBI guys say, give me something on Roger Stone. So I said, Roger Stone this, Roger Stone that, but they were all lying, all of it.
What were they drinking? Champagne cocktails.
Champagne cocktails. What are they drinking?
You are about to get a subpoena from the Senate Ethics Committee. You will have to appear. If you refuse to appear, you will be arrested by the Senate Sergeant at Arms. Bernard Spitzer, your shady deals will now be known to everybody that your son is a worthless, psycho piece of shit.
I was close with Assange. You don't know the guy that was the in-between guy between Assange and Roger Stone? My cousin.
That's quite a way to open.
Was that my cousin? Yes. He wants me to go around, and we're big fans of McClatchy News Service. Can I just step in?
We're a little tight right now.
We are?
Yeah, we are.
Just
Sorry.
walk in and walk out?
Yeah, sorry, a little full.
And there he is, that guy Stenner, man. Congratulations. You're doing very well. Tom. It's my wife, Kat. Kat. I'm Randy Credico. I'm the guy that was connected to Roger Stone. You remember him? Jimmy Hoffa Jr., how are you? Good, that's fun, man.
How you doing?
I worked on this campaign in '97.
I wouldn't be here without him.
Where's Tom? Where's Tom? No, I'm talking about Tom. What's his name? The guy who was a campaigner, Jimmy Hoffa. Do you know Jimmy Dore? You should do the Jimmy Dore show. Well, I know him because I helped in the campaign in '96. All right, against a good guy. That guy, Ron Terry. I worked on his campaign for 1 year, humor for Hoffa, and he credits me. But I'm the guy that's connected now between Stone and WikiLeaks. I'm very close with Julian Assange. Have you seen that I got the subpoena? Are you supporting the Russiagate, the whole theory of Julian Assange helping out the Republicans? With Assange. You don't know the guy that was the in-between guy between Assange and Roger Stone? It's my wife, Kat. Kat. I'm Randy Credico. I'm the guy that was connected to Roger Stone. You remember him? But I'm the guy that's connected now between Stone and WikiLeaks. I'm very close with Julian Assange. Have you seen that I got the subpoena?